news segment?
It's just my chit chat story, but I'm
Oh,
calling it a new segment called "That's How the Cookie Crumbles."
gotcha. All right. Hello and welcome to the Nerdosphere. I'm one of your hosts, Clayton, joined as always by the biggest palate this side of the Mississippi, Corbin.
Hey man, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I couldn't. I'm blessed and dressed, baby.
Blessed and
Blessed and
dressed. I like to
dressed.
hear it. I like to
Yeah,
hear
man.
it.
Yeah, man.
We're also joined, as always, by our bestie's best friend, Tiny Tim Jarin. Hello, Tim. How are
I
you
prefer
today?
I prefer Micro Tim Jarin.
Micro Tim. Well, if we go with Micro Tim, we're going to drop the
MT.
Jarin.
Micro Tim MT.
MT, short for mountain compensation.
If you've noticed a little bit of a different octave and inflection in our voice, I was at risk of losing my voice earlier, so I was talking quietly, and it infected the rest of the podcast, and now here we are as we start our recording. It may go back to normal, who knows? But right now,
It is hard to say.
it's just soft.
It's just kind of a vibe, you know?
It's total vibe.
Total vibe. I'm in my bedroom in high
You're
school. I
talking
got the
way
radio.
too loud, man. You're killing the
It's
vibe.
talking, yeah. Come on, dude.
Let me
Dude,
scoot back a little bit too.
There you go.
Tim, we're
Yes.
getting spherical in here.
We're getting spherical.
You're getting a little pointed. All right, we're round.
We're round.
I feel like
Smooth.
this is
Exactly.
this is what it is. You guys are the smooth DJs
Yeah.
at 3 a.m. that were on my radio in high school. And then I'm the obnoxious super lad ad that does not fit the show at all that they have to play.
I don't know.
That's-
Are you trying
that's
to be
me.
soft right now? Because you were getting very loud. You were in band, so I'm surprised that this concept has escaped you, but I'm going to talk down to you for a second.
You
I'm
shouldn't
gonna
be surprised. I was not good in
I'm
band.
going to talk condescending. Sometimes playing faster does not mean playing louder. Men, take that to the bedroom. Your significant other will thank you.
I don't know how speed got introduced into this, but I feel you. I feel you, brother.
Yeah, Tim is like when you fall asleep to boring, slow infomercials in the middle of the night, and then you're woken up by the collection of love songs that scream and wake you up.
Or worse, the waking up to the Inuyasha ending, which will show me we're walking and all of a sudden here.
But even that but even that is still calming at the right volume.
No, you're right.
I feel like this is like one of my favorite TikTok trends from last year, where you fall asleep watching a basic Mr. Beast YouTube video, and then the ridiculous Ford F-150 commercial comes on, where they're like, your girlfriend ever get pissed off because she found out you were kissing her dad? That's what it's like driving a Ford F-150. They roll over like, what the fuck am I listening to?
Oh, goodness. Well, if you didn't know, this is the Nerdosphere. We're a podcast that discusses everything from the big screen to the small screen and anything in between, whether it be shows, TV, music, books, or video games. If you can nerd out about it, we're going to talk about it. Remember, if you like what we do and you're on an Apple device, scroll down and give us a 5-star rating. Giving us a rating really helps us get in front of new ear holes, and we appreciate it. And guess what? If you're on Spotify, they've added rating. So you too can scroll down and rate us. We appreciate all of your rating and sharing. And tonight, we're going to be discussing Red Dead Online and its status.
Hell yeah,
but
dude.
before we get into that,
Indeed.
Corbin, you said you had a story you wanted to tell, so why don't you go ahead and bring it?
Yeah, man. Calling this is a new segment on the podcast that might only live for this one episode, but it's called "That's How the Cookie Crumbles." So I'm perusing my phone, thinking of delicious treats that I want to try, and Crumble, a cookie ad, stumbles upon my face, and I've used them once before, but it's been many moons since I've done that. I open up the app and I see a variety of delicious cookies. These flavors are only here for this week, to my understanding, but one of them is a raspberry lemonade. So it's a lemon cookie with raspberry icing.
It sounds delicious.
It does sound delicious. One of the other ones is an oatmeal cookie with Rolos baked into them and caramel drizzle. But it sounds like interesting enough to try it. So I get very excited. I place an order. And right before I hit pay, I realize, oh, that's my Columbia address. I just updated it. Why is it not my St. Louis address? So then I updated it to St. Louis. And then it says, sorry, delivery is not an option. Store pickup is in Baldwin and it's 35 minutes away. And so now I do not get to try the raspberry lemonade cookie. Unfortunately, sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles.
I get it now. I get it. I have a story that I've actually been meaning to bring up and I keep forgetting.
Is it how none of you responded to my naked video in the tundra?
Were you actually naked or did you have a swimsuit on?
No, my penis was out.
I just assumed you were in boxers. Why would I assume you're naked?
The thigh that you saw was it was at the hip.
You got some short ass legs then, my brother. Jesus Christ. I thought that was 3 inches above your knee. I also would have expected to see swinging dick.
Well, I didn't want to show you my pecker.
I mean,
Why
he's
not?
out.
That was also in the cold.
It was snowing. He was standing in 2 or 3 inches of snow.
It was 8 degrees.
That thing is inside his body at this point.
It was an innie.
Yeah.
Very cold.
Yeah. In case you wanted to know, I'm definitely a grower, not a shower.
It takes a lot of confidence to walk around naked with an innie in front of your woman.
I mean, his balls would still be there, so.
Yeah. Makes it look even worse. That makes it look even smaller.
Well, what's actually funny is that she was trying to get the little booties on the dogs because we were taking them for a hike to go see the frozen lake on the beach. So she was actually wrestling with the dogs, trying to, she was having a very stressful time. Well, I was like, I have to take this video. I took all my clothes off. I stood out there naked to film it. And I was like, isn't this funny? And she was like, yeah, it's funny. So it seems that no one appreciated the video.
No.
But I was naked. I was naked the whole time.
Did you put one of the dog's booties on your penis?
No.
That would have made the video exponentially better.
That should have been how you did it. A booty on the dick. And then you show the full body frontal.
And then have Morgan in the background. Corbin, have you seen the dog's last booty? And you pan down to your dick and it's there.
Just a real quick. So if we wanted to pause and see, we could. But if you're just watching, it was like, oh, it's quick.
Classic. Oh.
Anyway, Clayton, your story.
Yeah, so I rented to this older gentleman self-storage unit. It's been a couple months. He only ended up inside the unit for about half a month, about 15
That's
days.
About a couple months, 8 weeks, right? Just for context.
Thereabouts, 8 weeks.
Okay, 8 weeks.
And he's an older gentleman, veteran. He's got a speech impediment, hard to understand. And very friendly guy. I guess I made an impression because he likes to give people funnies, as he says. He likes to tell jokes. He likes to tell jokes. Would you like a funny, he asks when he talks to you. So now that he's no longer a customer, I get a random phone call about once every other day. And it's this man. And he starts the phone off with the start of a joke, whether it be a knock knock or a have you heard the one about, or so-and-so and so-and-so walk into a bar. He just goes right into it after I say, this is Corral Storage, how can I help you? And then I participate and I laugh whether I understand him or not. And when he hears me laugh, he hangs up.
Have you tried?
He doesn't say hi. He doesn't say bye. He tells me the joke, waits for the laugh, and hangs up.
Have you tried outlasting him in silence to see what he does?
I have not. I'm too polite for that.
That's too mean, but it would be really funny. He tells you a joke and there's crickets and you just wait until he says something.
Yeah.
Could be minutes.
I tried to start keeping track of his jokes, but to my shame, I cannot understand him because of his speech impediment. I only have one joke that I understood, and it's not finished, so I'm not going to say it. So apparently I didn't even understand that one. I was going to read it, but it's not finished.
Can you at least read what you have? Maybe we can fill in the blanks.
Sure. Under my notes app, I have Joke Man's jokes with one line. Again, because I can't understand his speech impediment.
Right.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
To.
To who?
No, to whom? Get it? So I actually did have it already. I just needed your participation to put it together.
And then he hangs up.
And then he hangs up. Boom. That's it.
How often is this?
Dude, it was like once a week. Now it's like once every other day, sometimes once a day. Like this man,
You found a
just
joke
bringing
book.
the funny. Today he called me twice. It's increasing
Dang.
You need to have a joke prepared
for him.
to give. Yeah, you have to give as well.
There's no opportunity. He doesn't say hi. I say, thank you for calling Corral Stores. This is Clay. Not gonna be. Joke starts. I participate in joke. I politely laugh, whether it's funny or not, or even understand what's going on. Hang up. There's no opportunity.
That's a trip, man. That's a trip.
I think I need all of our listeners to now call Corral Storage and give you jokes. Don't say hi. Just call. With jokes.
I ever tell you guys the story about my first probably 5 or 6 years at VU and the dicks?
The dicks?
The dicks.
So. It doesn't
What do
sound
you
familiar.
mean? What do you mean the dicks?
For probably 5 years, I would randomly get these faxes at VU. At least back then, I don't know if we still do it a whole lot. I'm not on the production side anymore, but it wasn't abnormal for us to get stuff mailed to us from a borrower, and you'd have to walk it over and you'd have to scan it in so you get a digital copy that you could upload. And it would just say like, you knew it was something from the scanner, but you have no idea where it's from because it's just a bunch of random numbers and letters. For 5 or 6 straight years, I would randomly get a really exceptionally well done hand-drawn dick scanned into me.
Like from Superbad?
It was just like Superbad. The dicks were always doing, sometimes it was just like a portrait of a dick. Sometimes it was doing something like in Superbad, like stopping a tank or something. But for at least 5 years, I would get at least one a month randomly. And to this day, I have no idea who was sending me all these dicks. I have no clue.
Did you ever compare them to Superbad? Like, was this man or woman, or they?
Oh, no.
I don't want to assume this human being was sending you dicks from Superbad, or?
Oh no, you could tell these were handcrafted, and they even said to Tim in the corner. And like once in a while they'd just be like a crappy dick, but usually it was like somebody took a lot of time to draw this dick today.
Like that old Reddit joke where they're like, this took me 18 hours, and sometimes it's an immaculate piece of artwork, and other times like stick figures.
Yeah, like these are like well-shaded dicks coming straight to me, and I miss it. I wish somebody loved me in that way still.
Well-shaded dicks.
How can you not know?
I would
ask.
Do you have a suspicion?
I had like a hit list, and none of them ever fessed up to it. Never.
Really?
It's amazing. It's amazing that you can get. I couldn't do that.
No,
I couldn't keep that secret for that long.
I'm not Banksy. I would want people to know.
Not only that, I'd randomly get up and walk around and just like see if somebody was doodling or drawing a dick. I knew I probably wouldn't see the dick, but I'm like, okay, if you're at your desk,
doodlers.
Yeah, like who's the doodlers? I never even found a doodler. It was incredible. 5 years.
5 years of receiving deep pics?
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey, I'm going to go off script for a second.
We're on.
We don't
script
have
right now?
we don't have a script.
No, this is way off script. We have a Patreon. You can check us out on Patreon. What is it? Remind me the website. Patreon.com/the Nerdosphere.
The Nerdosphere.
And we have a whole.
It's patreon.com/the Nerdosphere.
Yeah, we've got all kinds of great perks. If you sign up for Patreon at the $5 tier this week, before our next episode drops, I will randomly draw you a dick picture for the next 12 months. Every single month. That's going to be one of your perks. You're going to get a random
This is way off script. We had no idea you were going to do this.
A hand-drawn dick every month.
For only $5 a month.
That's quality. That's a
in
quality
addition to all
offer.
our other perks. Ad-free podcasts, the supplemental Nerd Tea podcast where we talk about random shit that has nothing to do with nerd stuff, just more of us.
Yeah.
And hand-drawn penises. And Corbin can attest. I am an
penises.
excellent artist.
I don't know how I could possibly attest to that. When have I ever seen your art?
That game we played. You came over for game night.
I'm way better than
Illustrations After Dark. You were drawing the most disgusting things with such vivid detail in 90 seconds. It was amazing. I was surprised you weren't embarrassed at how vulgar and disgusting
Have you
your
met
artwork
Corbin?
was.
I was able to get ass cheeks in a TV screen with a guy jerking off watching it.
With a little butthole
Splusion.
drawn in and everything. And mine's literally like stick figures with boobs. Like, I'm a terrible artist. Corbin's got a real skill for it, though.
It's just all about how you all those creative juices.
Well, if that interests you, you have between now and next Thursday to jump on the $5 tier to get that special dick drop from Timmy Boy.
I'm going to spend a lot of time on it. It's gonna be a special piece of art that you're gonna want. I promise you.
You're gonna want to write in the corner, maybe on the back, maybe right next to where, because you're gonna sign each image. It's an original Tim. Sign each image, and then put the time you took, the amount of time, minutes, hours, whatever it is. Put it down underneath your signature.
Have you guys ever seen Picasso? I think I sent you a YouTube video of Picasso years ago.
I have no idea.
What is
Picasso? Is a man
Picasso?
Who paints beautiful pictures, incredible pictures, using only his dick and his ass. He has handcrafted paints because he found out that when he used regular paints, he was getting all these infections.
Oh my God.
Apparently, your penis doesn't like paint.
Don't stop painting with your dick. Get new paint.
Make your own paint. And he makes incredible art with his dick. And he's got videos on YouTube, and it's the most violent thing you've ever seen because sometimes he's just literally like slapping the shit out of the board with his dick. It's fucking hilarious.
If this kind of talk that we do in the beginning before we get into the topic is stuff that you enjoy, that's the kind of stuff that's in our nerd teas. Just so you know. Just
the content over at patreon.com/the Nerdosphere.
And you only need to be a $1 subscriber to get the nerd tea. So.
Maybe we can record a nerd tea tonight and it's just us watching a Picasso video.
Oh God.
We can put the link in Patreon so people can watch it and understand why we're laughing so hard.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, let's get into tonight's topic, seeing as we're about 18 minutes in or so. Tonight, as we said in the intro, we're going to be discussing Red Dead Redemption 2, more specifically Red Dead Online, which initially was extremely popular, has maintained a nice core player base, but admittedly the player base is dwindling to nothing eventually. It's dying a slow death. Rockstar has released updates, but they are few and far between, and the updates that do come out really don't add a ton to the game. There is a ton of potential with Red Dead Online, especially when you compare it to its single-player counterpart. You can't even do all of the same things in online that you can do in the main story, which includes things like robbing banks, robbing trains, simple stuff you would expect to be in an online open world on cowboy game. So yeah, the community recently again got fed up with the lack of not only communication but support for the game, because people really do love this game and they see the potential, and Rockstar is just not acting on that potential. And there was a saved Red Dead Online movement about a week or two ago. It was trending on Twitter for a couple days, and the community is just really kind of over Rockstar not supporting Red Dead. And we thought, since we're wanting to talk about games more, and since we love Red Dead Online, we have spent, us three, countless hours playing Red Dead Online. We've streamed for you guys some, which you can find those videos on demand over at twitch.com/nerdosphere. But yeah, we just love it. We thought we'd talk about it, discuss what's going on with the game, discuss what we want from the game, and if it's even possible to save it at this point. So,
what's frustrating about Red Dead Online the second time is that they didn't even really build upon some of the things that made the online experience fun the first go around. Sorry. The first go around, we had land grabs, which do not exist in Red Dead Online 2, which is very frustrating because if you played Red Dead Online the first time, that was kind of like the go-to thing that people did. The way that it would work is in each town, there was a land grab. In Armadillo, it was the saloon. You say you are grabbing it, and it sends out a beacon invite to everyone on the server. And if they want to come contest it, they can. So everyone fights for this king of the hill, and whoever held it the longest wins the land grab. And when Clayton and I first started, that's all we did. And Clayton and I also were the first. People roll their eyes when we say this, but this is the fucking truth. Clayton and I were the first ones to use dynamite during land grabs. Can't tell you how long Clayton and I played land grabs, and people were just firing. And Clayton and I were like, I wonder if dynamite's more explosive when you throw it inside the building. And you throw it in, all of a sudden the 4 dots just disappear. And then before you know it, that became like the go-to for land grabs. And it became like this fun meta game where Clayton and I were like, me, Clayton, and Darren would hop on and be like, how could we fare against like massive posses of just the 3 of us? And so there's nothing like that existing in Red Dead Online 2 right now, of just like wanting to go in and bullshit with people outside of the dumb mini games that they have for quick loads.
Yeah, so I'm new to Red Dead Online. I hadn't played until this year, and I was obsessed with it for months. It was my most played game last year. I played it for 143 hours based on my PlayStation app, which is a lot for me. I don't play a ton of video games. I think I only ended up playing like maybe 250, 225 hours. I can't remember, but it was almost all Red Dead Online. And it was so fun to start playing that game and start building up from nothing. But after 100 hours, which is a lot, but after 100 hours, I quickly realized like, this is nothing more than my Candy Crush, right? I don't play Candy Crush, but it's a time waster where it's like, okay, I'm doing these daily things just to do them and build money that I can't spend on anything, which was really frustrating.
Yeah.
You get to a certain level and it's like, I own everything I want to own, and everything that there is on that game is money based. It's and what sucks is it wouldn't be that way if there were more people actually playing. But towards the end, towards the last month, I haven't even seen another actual player in server. So all I can really do are things like moonshine runs, or doing crypt shop and then doing deliveries. That gets really old after a while. There's no conflict in it. It's very routine. There's some things I could have done towards the end without even like really looking at the screen. It's like, I know exactly where I'm going. I don't even need my map. I know there's going to be a roadblock right here. I know I'm going to have to wait for 30 seconds. I mean, it got incredibly boring, and it's frustrating because, like you said, there's so much potential. And it's just amazing to me that Rockstar is okay with letting Red Dead die for GTA 5. They are doing, not only are they not adding new content, they're not even communicating to the fan base at all. They had a trending hashtag for a full week or two, and there was nothing at all. To the extent that I was watching a video today, Rockstar sent out a survey to a huge number of GTA Online players, asking about the most recent update, asking about how they spend their time in the game, what they enjoy, what needs to be fixed, and what they'd like to see come to the game. That didn't go out to anybody who played Red Dead. It was just GTA. And so it's amazing to me that they have essentially said, we don't care about Red Dead. Because to me, that's what they've said at this point. At first, I was a skeptic. I didn't think that's what was happening. I thought Red Dead was getting all this attention because, GTA was getting all this attention because of the remake that was coming out of 1 through 3. And then I thought, okay, Red Dead's going to be back after that. We're going to have another update. There'll be another Fast Pass. It's going to be great. Instead, we had a very lackluster Halloween where they don't do what the fans want and having a true undead experience. We had a Fast Pass that really gave me nothing that I really cared about. And since then, it's been crickets. It's been crickets, so much so that they've moved from weekly events to monthly events. So it's very clear at this juncture that they're ignoring the fan base. And I can't wrap my brain around it.
The one thing I want to say to get ahead right now for the people who are listening is like, I have grown so tired of people being like, well, you can't do as much in Red Dead Online as you can in GTA because you're limited. You don't have machine guns. You don't have cars, this, that, and the other. And it's like, I don't want that fluff. The Red Dead Online, Red Dead in general, is fun because of the limitations of the era. It allows you to exist in this era where you have a revolver where it shoots slower than an MSG, which anyone can spam. So your gunplay actually requires talent. There's also a plethora of things they haven't even scratched the surface on. I said this to you guys off cast. It is like the people who are in charge of Red Dead Online have never even played the game because there's such a lack of imagination. When we were playing Red Dead 1 online, we were talking about, we were like, how cool would it be if there's a land grab on a train? So then you had all these people just chasing a train and trying to get on it and stay on there the longest. How cool would it be to have a bank robbery? Just rob a fucking bank. Like that would give you hours of content. Like when we played Red Dead Online the first time, we had to make up our own stuff as a community. And like in Mexico, there was like this big fortress with cannons, and became this self-made mini game of who can get into the fortress while the people had cannons. And there's also not a whole lot in Red Dead Online 2 to spark that kind of imagination in general. It's not very lived in. And then, like you said, Tim, aside from like the few things that we've had from like those roles, there's nothing else to do. And it's also important to know that those roles didn't launch with Red Dead Online 2 as well. If you think that there's little to do in Red Dead Online right now, imagine what it was like when it first dropped. And it's also frustrating because all of the critical acclaim Rockstar is getting is from Red Dead 2's campaign. Mm-hmm. GTA 5 did not get much critical acclaim on its campaign, especially not compared to what Red Dead 2 did. And so it's almost like the people who poured their heart and souls into the single player didn't even touch this the online, because it is night and day difference to the labor of love that it is.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the last 2 updates for each game. And GTA, you had a completely new mode, the Contract, which was based on Dr. Dre. And people love it. The content's great. There's a ton to do. It's unique. It's fresh. People really love the Contract. And the last update that we got in Red Dead was Blood Money. And if you guys remember, Blood Money was terrible. It was nothing but Capitale, and you really couldn't figure out how to do anything meaningful with it. It was nothing new to the game. It was just, okay, like it's a variant on everything they've already had. There was no new content from it in my eyes. So it's almost like Red Dead didn't send that, or Rockstar didn't send that survey to Red Dead fans and players because they knew that they were going to get shit answers back, because they've done nothing but shit on the game for the past year. And I really can't fathom it. There's got to be money in Red Dead. I know I've listened in on investors talk about Take-Two and Rockstar, and they say that Red Dead Online and RD2 are still two of their most profitable properties. GTA is definitely the most profitable, which makes sense. They've poured the most money back into it. But it's not like Red Dead is some abandoned game that only a few people play. Like there's between 30 and 60,000 players a day, which is big for most video games.
That's just on Steam too. It's
that's
more in
just
the
on-
hundreds of thousands for if you include
Right.
consoles.
Right. So it's like, it's a big property. It's maybe not big compared to GTA, but it's big compared to everything else out there. And it's, I mean, I know I'm a broken record. It's amazing at how little attention Rockstar is giving to fans. I couldn't imagine us, like our podcasting family. We've got multiple podcasts under our branch. We've got Anime Ultra. We have Wheel of Time Watchers. We have More Than Mando's Show. Those are 3 active other shows that we actively are recording. Could you imagine us saying, hey, we're going to ignore the nerdosphere to focus on those other podcasts, and hundreds of thousands of people are tweeting, save the nerdosphere, and we just fucking ignore it like for months? That's what Rockstar's doing right now. They're ignoring a huge number of paying fans.
Yeah, it's strange just because, I mean, the general excuse has been it's because all their focus, their priority 1, 2, and even 3 is GTA and GTA Online, and presumably GTA 6, which has been long in the pipeline. But you have to imagine that there is money to be made that would make it worth the time to put significant time into developing Red Dead Online. So,
I mean, we talked about with, and Tim didn't even get to experience this, which I'm sad about. But one of the most charming things about the first Red Dead was Undead Nightmare, which was such an imaginative piece of work. Imagine a piece of fiction, honestly. It is taking, it's a genre bend, something that we haven't really seen before. Zombies in a Western. And this is also what I'm talking about when it comes to like, you can do wacky ideas like they do in GTA and like make it fit the world. Like Undead Nightmare was so much fun, where you have, instead of Molotov cocktails, you have bottles of holy water you're throwing at hordes of zombies. You have the blunderbuss, where you're just shoving random shit into as ammo and blowing off the heads and arms of the hordes that are following you. You have exotic horses that are the 4 horses of the apocalypse, and it had an online feature where you're fighting waves of zombies with other people, and it was a ton of fun. Now, when it comes to Halloween time on Red Dead, I have been so ignored by Rockstar that literally all I would need to keep me happy for the entire month is just put zombies in instead of like animals for the month. Like that's it. That would require very little work from them, and it would mean the world to the community.
Yeah, that's something a lot of the fans have been screaming. I've never made a video game. This is maybe a bad take, but a lot of the things that make Grand Theft Auto so fun could easily be applied to Red Dead Online. And I don't even feel like it would change the development work exponentially. Something like the Rockstar Editor that you have in Grand Theft Auto, where you can go in and truly customize things. Like you can go in and spend time and make a property, a vehicle, clothing, what you want it to be. We have nothing like that in Red Dead. And it feels like that could be taken from Grand Theft and applied to Red Dead without a ton of work. Like I should be able to have more options on my camp, right? I should be able to put a house on my camp. Should be able to customize the layout of my camp. If I want my tent over here as opposed to over there, I should be able to do that. Those are very standard things in most games, and you can't do any of it. Like the fact that I can't rearrange my camp at its basis is crazy to me. Like if I want to move the campfire from left to right, I should be able to do that easily. But Rockstar has given Red Dead nothing. It's literally, you can buy this cookie cutter or you can buy that cookie cutter, but make sure you like the one you buy because that's what you got. It's it's crazy. It feels like just take some of what you've made for Grand Theft Auto and put it into Red Dead, and you would make millions of people happy.
Yeah. And to your point, there's several things, ideas and methods that are used in GTA that would translate easily to our Red Dead Online, and they've actually been asked for by the community. The ability to buy property, like you just mentioned, to be able to not even just buying a house to put on your camp, like just being able to buy property. In GTA, you can buy a house or an apartment or whatever, a garage. You can't buy stables, you can't buy houses. You only have a camp that is randomly generated on the map in a specific area that you choose. Heists, there's not really a version of heists in Red Dead. People want to be able to rob banks. They want to be able to initiate train robberies, these heist type activities that they have experience with in their other big game. And all you have to do is move it over. Take that same formula and move it over. Obviously, you're not going to be able to put a DeLorean or Speed Racer's car or Tron motorcycles or jetpacks in Red Dead.
You could do Back to the Future 3 where you have like the train and it's like this event that goes on for a few months.
You could. And I mean, there's nothing. I mean, I know you keep talking about these wacky out there things like that, which is a great idea, and the Undead Nightmare. And you can get wacky with Red Dead, but even just take away the wacky stuff for a second. The audience just wants basic things to do in the open world. That's the problem. So they do have a land grab type mode. It's not in the open world. You have to go into a playlist, get put into a specific map that's enclosed. It's not out in the world. There is a like King of the Hill on a moving train type game mode, but it's in its own playlist. People want this stuff in the online. They want to load up into the free roam Red Dead Online and have things to do. They want it to feel like a world. They don't want to hop in to an empty online world and then load into a playlist of different game modes.
Yeah, and I mean, part of the big reason why people need that is because right now engagement is so low. I've tried hopping into a few of those modes. I tried hopping into Call to Arms most recently, which is the survival. We've all played Call to Arms together, where it's like, how many waves can you survive with 4 other players or 3 other players? I probably did that every night for a week, and never did I get matched up with another player. Not one time. You know, so all those other modes that you're talking about, they're effectively dead because people don't go there and do them. You need to be able to do that in the open world and have real time like pings that go out, like Corbin was talking about, to know this is happening right now. There are actual people doing this right now. Do you want to join them? And I think it changes the equation.
Well, plus the best times that you have in a game, and we can continue to use GTA as an example, the best times that people have are out in the world interacting with other players, and the sheer randomness and limitless possibilities that come from the open world online situation. So the most fun we have in Red Dead is just us dicking around with each other and other players.
Totally. Yeah, and I mean, there's just so many ways you can do it. You look at all of the variations of Grand Theft, and like, there's now simulations that people can do where they're the police officers in Grand Theft, and they're radioing other players that are police officers and doing routine stops, and they go sideways really quick. And you watch these videos on Twitch, it looks like they're having a blast doing these things. You could do that so easily in Red Dead. You could, I mean, it would be so easy to do, and it's a
for
shame they don't do
context,
that.
before you go too far with that point, those are specific roleplay servers that have been heavily modified by the user base. There are Red Dead Online roleplay servers that are similar.
I will say this, though, as someone who loves the clothing of that era of Red Dead, I will say there is not enough clothing in Red Dead Online to satisfy me, to really make it feel like you are making your cowboy or Western styled character truly unique. There just isn't enough options for hats, vests, coats, nothing. It's very frustrating, especially when you look back to what is there now versus what was there when it launched. They really haven't expanded it at all. And when I go on and play GTA, I mean, sure, Clayton and I can spend 45 minutes dressing our characters and walk out and look the exact same. That's only because he and I like the same things. But you can make your character look like someone that you'll never see again in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just another basic thing that's just missing from Red Dead. There's just not enough customization. There's probably enough horses, but there's not enough difference in the horses. It really ultimately doesn't matter what horse you get unless you're getting just a shitty horse. When you get up into the good horses, like, it really doesn't matter. And then there's not enough customization for the horses to make them look different. Your carriages can't really look that much different. I mean, you can get different paint jobs, but that's really it. I don't know. And again, it's kind of goes hand in hand with being able to buy a stable or a house, or there's just so many basic things that could easily be added and expanded on.
Without even thinking about anything wacky, things that the game has taught us in game that would be fun to have is an armored chariot for you and your horses, where you can have a Gatling gun on the back, one that you actually have that you've earned.
Yeah,
and then like
single player.
And then also like the armor that we've had to wear on those like really intense raids that we had to do, where you have that dumb bucket helmet and stuff where you can take heavy, like it'd be cool to unlock those things so that when you are like in the world encountering other people, it's like, oh shit, like
you got a juggernaut.
Yeah, like that posse's in the server.
Yeah, I mean, my last thought on this, when we say RDO's been abandoned, we're not even getting quality of life updates, things that are essential. So the horse bug is still there, where I'll have to go out of server and come back in because all of a sudden my horse won't come to me. And I mean, that still happens frequently.
And that's a huge deal. You have to have your horse to get around in this giant world.
Yeah, that's just a straight quality of life update. When I call my horse, it should come to me within a certain amount of time. Not like I've tried calling my horse for 6 minutes and I can't get my horse, and now I've got to go out of the server and restart so that I can have a horse to get back to my camp. It's very apparent to me that the people who are running Rockstar are not playing the game, because there's not anybody who's a decision maker who would stand for some of these quality of life glitches that are there in the game and say, yeah, that's okay. We're not going to focus in on trying to fix those.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's very, like, we talk sometimes about old Hollywood with movies and shows and stuff. The way Rockstar is treating, or lack thereof, not listening or even treating the audience like anything, is very old video gamey. The move has been more communication, more updates, more listening to the community, more I developed this game and this is how we think it should work. Now the community completely changes it because this is how the audience actually wants to play it. Like, that's where gaming is at right now. And Rockstar is not there. I'd say even with GTA, yeah, they sent out a server or a survey, but they're not like Destiny, like Bungie. They're not like how Xbox has tried to be in the last few years. Like, they're not, you know what I mean? Like, Ubisoft has really been this way as well. Really listening and making changes that the audience wants. sometimes drastically changing the game. I mean, we see developers, especially on PC and Steam, they release alphas and betas, and games are in alphas and betas for years. We're seeing it. A recent example is, I mean, it happens all the time, but Baldur's Gate 3 is like a huge, huge game that's being developed right now. And it is in pre-alpha, basically. I think it's alpha, but they're releasing it in chunks. And as they release it, they take tons of feedback from the community and they continue to change and improve as the game releases. And when the actual full game releases in a like 2 years from now, it will be as much developed by the audience as by the developers. That's where gaming's at right now, and Rockstar is way behind on the curve.
Yeah. And what frustrates me is I feel like when we eventually roll into an RD3, which I'm sure we'll get, one because Red Dead 2 was such a huge seller. I'm scared that they might use some bullshit excuse of there is no online because the audience wasn't there for it. When in actuality, they suffocated their audience. The audience was there, is partially there, is clamoring for it, is willing to fight for it.
I mean, there's definitely an audience there. There's still content creators that make their living off of Red Dead. I mean, the core audience is there. It's just unfortunately shrinking.
Yeah, I mean, they have to make the business decision if RD3 comes out on, are we going to have it online or not? Because if they're going to do the same thing they're doing now, please don't give me RDO3. Like, if you're just going to create a shell of a game and then ignore it, don't get my hopes up like that. Because like I said, I spent 143 hours playing this game and I had a ton of fun. It wasn't all waste, but it's very disappointing to look back and say, the bulk of that was not story-based. It was me building up my character so that I could have fun interactions with people. And by the time I got my character where I really wanted them, there were no interactions to be had. So, like, please either give it to us or say you're not going to give it to us, one or the other. They're playing with our emotions, and it just drives me insane.
Yeah.
Play the game you make.
Yeah, that's true. But one of the biggest things is when you have a game for service, you have to give the people things to do. If the people are paying for this service, they have to have things to do.
100%. This will be the last time I say this, but to piggyback off of you bringing up Bungie in this conversation, Clayton, not only are they receptive to the audience, but everyone in the Bungie team plays Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
They play it. They're in it. So they're with the community, seeing what's working, seeing what's not working. Play your fucking game. Yeah, play your fucking game.
And Bungie's not perfect. They're usually a little behind on the updates, but they listen, they try, they actively acknowledge when they're not listening enough. Regardless of how you feel about Destiny in its current state, Bungie is a shining example for how to communicate and listen to your audience most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, they are the example of what a live service game, how it should function, because no other live service game has really been able to exist alongside it. But there's no way that anyone on the dev team at RDO is like, yeah, I'm proud of this, and I can play this for hours. Like, there's no fucking way.
No, or they'd be all over social media, like Bungie's people are. Yeah. It's easy to like if you are dialed in even just a little to Destiny's community. It is so easy to find their community management team, their PvP development team, their sandbox development team. It's so easy to find people that work for Bungie and that are proud to play the game. And you don't 100%. See that at all in Rockstar. I don't think I've ever seen somebody tweet and say, hey, I'm a developer, like, I love working for this game. I love doing this. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate.
Tim, you got your Google eyes on. Were you looking something up?
Yeah, I was just trying to find some of the engagement numbers, and it's hard to find. You have to add several things together, but I mean, it's a big number.
Hard to find, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably hundreds of thousands of people who are still playing on some level, and just trying to compare that to other big games. Like, that's still elite online play in the grand scheme of things. But Rockstar is just so blinded by the crazy success of GTA that they've lost the ability to say, hey, this might be a fraction of GTA. Even if we did everything we couldn't grow it anymore. It's a fraction of GTA, but a fraction of GTA is like an elite level game still.
Yeah.
It's amazing that they can't see that.
Well, and there's also numerous Rockstar teams. That's also important to know, that it's not like everyone's hands are tied right now. They just don't have time for RDO. It's not like Bungie, where it's like they now are an independent studio. They're no longer underneath Activision or anything like that. It's just them, and they're trying to expand. There are numerous Rockstar teams. There's like one in California. There's one in Europe.
There's one in Seattle.
There's one in Seattle. The team that made the campaign for Red Dead 2 is not the same Rockstar that made GTA 5. So that also something to take into consideration. That it's not like they're just like, man, we would love to. We're all just so busy working on other IPs and other projects. Mm-mm. They just don't care.
I mean, that could be the case. It's just, don't think like it's one team with their, they're struggling to like balance two IPs.
Yeah.
They have several teams, several large, huge teams.
So it is very frustrating. And it is, it's where maybe there could have been a glimmer of hope that maybe they'll come around. The fact that hashtag was trending for as long as it was with no response, I think is the message the community needed.
Yeah.
Or is the answer they were looking for.
Yep. That's exactly right, unfortunately. And because of that, I personally do not think Red Dead can be quote unquote saved. I think it is what it is at this point. And that's going to be that.
Which is very sad, because I would devote my life to it if they would do the things that were needed to be done.
Yeah.
Yep. I think, unfortunately, I agree with you. If you would have asked me 2 months ago, when people were starting to chatter about Blood Money not going over well and when's the next update and what's going on and Red Dead's in trouble, I was like, man, this is clickbait. These are people, content creators, who are just trying to get clicks. But I sit here at the end of January and I say, they were right. I don't think Rockstar cares. I think even if they come out with an awesome update, enough of the fan base has been turned off that they won't return.
It would have to be massive. It would have to be, here's heists, and there's 4 or 5 of them.
I was going to say there's more than one or two.
Not only that, but like their commitment to give you new ones on a recurring basis too. Like, hey, here's 5 new heists, and you're going to get a new heist every month.
That's a little much. Maybe a heist every quarter. That'd be like asking Bungie for a raid every month.
I mean, the flip side to this,
every month. Not
the flip side to this is they haven't given you any new content in 6 months at this point.
I mean, you're not wrong.
But I'm saying it's going to take that level of commitment, I think, for a lot of fans to come back to the game. Definitely. I really do feel that way. There's so many that are like, nope, fuck Rockstar, fuck Red Dead Online. I've spent too much time for them to get to shit on me. I don't care what they do. I think them fucking up Blood Money was the last straw. I think there were a lot of fans that had left and not played for a long time because there hadn't been new content that had come out till Blood Money, and they came back and Blood Money was a huge failure and a huge disappointment. And they're like, no, I'm done now. Like,
well, I mean, you can count me in that basically, because we got into Red Dead again because 1, we wanted you to experience it, and 2, because we knew Blood Money, or at that point it was the next big update, was right around the corner. So we're like, let's get in, let's get Tim, get his feet wet, and then this new update's going to hit, and we're going to have a blast. Guess what? I am bored to flipping tears. I haven't touched it in months.
Sucks.
Yep.
Definitely sucks. Now I just have to do. Now I just have to live my Western fantasies by rewatching Tombstone every other week, which is unfortunate. But great movie.
Now we're stuck waiting on Sons of the Forest for God knows how much longer.
So it's like the gaming world's
May
Morbius.
22nd, I think.
It's supposed to be May 22nd.
It's the first time they've ever put a date to it, so I would say we're
That's
probably
true.
okay.
But you bet your nerdy tookus, if you're listening at home, when that game comes out, you are going to watch us stream that thing all the time.
Yep.
Because we streamed us playing the OG Forest, and it was so much fucking fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've just got to plug Twitch again. Check us out on Twitch because our gameplay of the Forest was fucking. There were some golden moments there, some true like Corbin screaming like a 12-year-old child moments. I mean, it was fucking
so many
hilarious.
Moments of you guys dying over and over again.
So many moments of me being an idiot and breaking something that we spent an hour trying to build.
Yeah, like the boat. Good God.
Damn you, Tim.
Or that time that I died because I fell through the
accidentally
stairs.
put this lantern in the wrong spot on this boat. Let me break it. Whack, 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 whack. Boat breaks. What did you do, Tim? I was trying to move this lamp and
it
broke
was
a boat.
amazing to me. I know I'm not a great gamer, but I thought I was at least average. But then like some of the mechanics in this game proved very quickly that I suck at video games. Like
Makes
just
for great
watching
content,
watching you guys like just climb up like rock walls, like just easily. And I'm like falling down.
Yeah.
It takes me like 10 minutes to get up a rock wall. I'm like, how the fuck are you guys jumping
It
around
was-
on
You
this
were
wall? to
falling
get
off
up there?
stairs, Tim.
Yeah, those
were
were
falling off
stairs, for one.
stairs.
And for
Not
two,
a rock wall.
For two, it's
He's
very
painting this picture of
apparent
us
you didn't
Skyrimming
put-
this.
Yeah, it's very apparent you didn't put hundreds of hours into Skyrim.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what I think you or Corbin said is like, we've been playing Skyrim for hundreds of hours.
I mean,
This is easy.
There's a reason.
And I'm just like sliding down like this wall. I can't get up it.
There's a reason the entire gaming community calls it Skyrimming when you go up walls like that.
Yeah, I can't do that. And that's especially problematic in a survival game where there's monsters literally at the bottom of that wall eating me.
Poor Tim.
I remember I was playing Skyrim and I put my waypoint somewhere and it was in this very strange spot where my objective was. And I was like, well, the only way to get there is this mountain's in the way. And so I just climbed the entire mountain and then I got up and I was like, oh, that's where the path was. Okay. And I slid back down. That was like 35 minutes of my day. It's just.
Since we're talking about gaming moments, just real quick, this will be how we go out because we're at our hour mark. Corbin teased it earlier, but we used to play GTA 5 online quite a bit, and it was fun. It'd be something I'd be willing to try again. But it was fun at the time. Corbin and I did indeed, it was no joke, go into the same high-end clothing store. We were in there, he said 45 minutes. It was probably pushing an hour. We were in there a long time, just going through all the clothes, buying stuff, setting up our outfit. I walk out, I call my car, I turn around, and Corbin is dressed in the exact same clothes. Like, I think our tie might have been different or something. Like, but it was basically the exact same. Same coat,
color,
same pants, same shoes, same fucking hairstyle, same glasses. We were like,
I'm pretty
how
sure it was
does this
something.
happen?
I think it was like audacious too. I think it was like a red suit.
It was very audacious. It was not
There's
just like we both
hundreds
walk
of
out in black
thousands of
suits. It was like
possibilities.
we both walk out in this flamboyant, over the top, sharp, rich dress suit situation, and we're exactly the same.
So the real question is who caved? Who was the one that changed their character?
It was Corbin.
I think I changed the color.
And I don't think it was really a fight. It was just like I had already walked outside. He walked out. I turned around. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. We're just like laughing about it. And he turns around and goes back inside.
I'll be right back.
That's hilarious.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Goodness. All right, folks. Well, this has been another The Nerdosphere. We hope you enjoy us talking about video games. I know this one was more of a Negative. I hesitate to say negative. Critical look at Red Dead Online and Rockstar's handle of it. It is something that's near and dear to our hearts and a lot of other people in the community, and we just want more. We see the potential there. It shouldn't be an empty, dead world. It should be a realized, fully expressed online world, just like their other property, GTA. And we just want it to be so. So, that's our opinion. If you like what we do, scroll on down and give us a rating. We appreciate it. If you listen to us, we think you know somebody who would also enjoy our content. So if you wouldn't mind sharing with those you love, we would appreciate it. If you really like what we do, go over to patreon.com/thenerdosphere, where you can, for the next week, get the special $5 tier of Tim's dick pic once a month.
Whoa. It's a hand-drawn
custom signed.
If you want my actual,
the iPhone doesn't zoom in far enough.
If you want an actual picture of my micro dick, check us out on
onlyfans.com/thenerdosphere, where you can see Corbin's toe knuckle and Tim's micro penis.
Oh yeah.
His toe knuckle is probably bigger than my micro penis.
I'll sell them feet pics. I'll give you something to gawk at. It'll take your breath away. I guarantee it.
Oh man. Well, thank you all for listening, and thanks for putting up with our shenanigans. We will see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Toodaloo.
See ya.